Love is very difficult to replicate. If you truly love someone, you're going to do unconscious habits that will cause the person who you're trying to seduce to fall in love with you. But when you have toxic traits, when you have avoidant traits, you're able to get people to be attracted to you. But the type of attraction that you get from them, it's usually just toxic. This type of love usually leads to retaliation, where you apply dark strategies to make them love you. But what happens is that they start to resent the fact that they're becoming so dependent on you and that the relationship doesn't feel equal. So to truly make somebody fall in love with you, you have to learn how to do it a silent way. And there are some silent acts that people who have dark narcissistic personality that get into toxic relationships, they can't replicate. Because the only type of acts of love or acts that make somebody love them that they do are things that are obvious, are things that are way too direct, way too brute, and way too manipulative. So today I'm going to show you 7 silent acts that makes any man fall in love with you. And this type of love that you create is a type of love that's healthy. All right? And these are things that you guys can do even if you're in a toxic relationship. Now, mind you, if you're in a toxic relationship, they might find this boring, which is a sign that you got to get the fuck out. All right? So let's begin. And if you guys enjoy this sermon this Sunday, this beautiful Sunday, click on the description down below where it says, work with Father Alex, man. Y'all taking way too much relationship advice from Granny, man. Listen to Granny about life, about the fact that life is short. But don't listen to her about dating advice. She'll be like, baby, I know Tyrone cheated, but back in my days, I get the fuck out of here, Granny. Click on the description down below where it says work with Father Alex, and then you'll be able to work with me and get the right advice. Everything else with Granny, listen to her. Life advice, listen to her. Food advice, listen to her. Oh shit, that's karma. Oh my God, Father Alex got instant karma. Yeah, I'm sorry, Granny. It's my fault, man. I gotta stop, man. That's a sign. Yeah. Anyways, oh Lord, we're twisted here, people. So yeah, click in the description down below where it says work with Father Alex. I gotta get this straight. And there you'll be able to book a phone call with me today. Not tomorrow, not in a few days, not in a few hours, but today, right? Because I've heard a lot of coaches have assistants that do their coaching for them, and they don't do any coaching at all, which is kind of silly, right? So yeah, click in the description down below, and there will be able to have a one-on-one phone call, all right? So let's begin with the video. So the first silent act is really a reflection of your mindset, a reflection of how you see them. What really penetrates a person's heart and mind is not what you say and do, it's actually what you have chosen to do in your heart. Meaning, the love and respect that you silently show. What do I mean by that? The respect is something that guys resent women for not giving to them, right? And the love is the paternal love and appreciation, like the love, when you're falling in love. These are things that you silently show, meaning even if you try to hide your love for them, you're going to show it unconsciously. Even if you try to hide your respect for them, your respect for a person radiates from within. And if you don't have this, the guy that you're with will resent you for it. Because they're not going to feel appreciated, which is actually a man's number one complaint, is that women don't appreciate them. By just you loving and appreciating them, and you don't have to tell them, you know? You can just show it through your actions. And the way that you show it is that you just feel the love that you have for them. And that's it. I'm not even kidding with you. Just feel love and respect. And all the little things you do will radiate that. This will cause a guy who loves and respects you to love you even more, to respect you even more. Why? Because studies show that whenever you know that somebody likes you or loves you, if you're healthy, it increases the love and respect that you have for them. If you know somebody respects you, it increases the respect that you have for them. So you give the love and respect, and they give it back. Now, if they don't give it back, that's fine. What that says is that this person, one, may not feel comfortable being loved and respected, but also that they don't respect you. They don't genuinely love you. And when you notice that they don't reciprocate what you're giving them, what that tells you is that you have to walk away from them. The next thing is the silent look. The silent gaze, I'll call it, right? The silent gaze is the look that you give someone whenever you're in love. And that gaze is what people remember when they start recalling you. That gaze is what people remember when they think of you, right? So when somebody's falling in love with you, if you learn to have eye contact every now and then with the guy, not creepy, you don't have to be super creepazoid, right? But just learn to give eye contact. When you're in love, the brain will literally remember that silent gaze. How? Well, through the recollection. When they start to recall you, what you'll notice is that it becomes like an anime movie. Meaning, the guy all of a sudden starts to remember your great moments, your great times. And the way that the brain remembers that is that it'll start to isolate everything else and zoom in on your eyes. Like your eyes become the focal point of the vision. And so this is very important, because if you don't give them the silent gaze, they're not going to recall this. There needs to be moments where you guys are looking at each other in silent, not having to say a word, but just look at each other. So all the autistic couples, y'all got to make some eye contact, okay? Y'all got to make some eye contact. So the silent gaze. Remember, when you're not in love with someone, you don't recall eye contact. You might look at them when you're recalling them. You might make quick eye contact, but usually there's more other things in the environment. You're usually also focusing on how much of a great time you had, on the fact that you went here or there. But when you're falling in love, literally everything becomes more blurry except the eyes. And when you look at that, when you look at their eyes in your mind or your dreams, you literally feel a warm feeling. And that actually intensifies. Oh my God, Father Alice can't spell. Listen, people, it's just a fact that I'm on camera. For some reason, I can't spell right when I'm on camera. I do not have dyslexia. It's not my name. So that's one thing. It intensifies, and this makes them fall in love with you harder. The next thing is that they care. The caress. The caress of comfort. One of the qualities about falling in love is the fact that you are able to soothe me. And one of the things that you have to learn to implement is have a silent touch, right? Where you touch a person in a soft, caressing way. But I know you guys saw the post of me liking to be, one of my things I do like when I go to airports and they pat me down. You know, I don't know why it is. I sound like Trump. I don't know where it is. I like being patted. It's a nice feeling. You know, you miss the spots. I may have a gun here. Check again. I don't know what it is. Guy or girl, when they pat me, look, not when they get to down there. I don't like that part. But everything else, we're like, okay, they're like, I'm like, turn around. I'm sure, bro, go ahead. Pat away, no homo. Right, the comfort. So that means is that when they're stressed, you give them a soft caress. Not hard, fucking freak, but soft, a gentle touch. Just say, relax, puppy. You know, you're like, honestly, guys grow addicted to that. It reverses guy to a childlike state of dependency, right? Where you only felt that when you were a kid. And that regression is highly addictive to guys. Okay? The next one is being able to predict their needs. And this prediction of their needs means you know what they want. if they're late, you know that right? If they're late, you know that you need to make their breakfast a little bit sooner, for example, right? If they come home and they don't say nothing to you, you can sense that maybe they had a tough day at work and they want some distance, and you give them that distance. When they're angry, you know exactly what soothes them. You know that at this time, he prefers having this food here. At this time, he likes to eat this. On holidays, he likes to go here. When his favorite team loses, you know how to calm him down. You know when he needs space because it's the finals. It's literally having almost like telepathic abilities where you're able to sense and you're so in sync with the person that you almost start to think as they think. And this mimicry comes into the next point. When you are falling in love with someone, you unconsciously start to mimic them. You start to mimic their facial expressions. You start to mimic what they say. You start to mimic the way that you dress. You start to mimic each other's value. You guys literally do the fusion fucking dance. Like you guys still literally start doing that. And that causes a person to become flattered because they start to see their self-reflection inside of you, right? The mimicry. And this is what causes, adults to fall in love with their kids. That their kids, their creepy kids, start to mimic everything that they do, right? They can't leave you alone. It's fucking crazy, right? And the next thing is that, now, one part that I wanted to include is that you not only are able to predict their needs, but you also are aware of their state. You know if they're happy today. You know the fluctuations. You know the average mood of theirs. So any fluctuations, you notice it. You're like a spider being aware of every movement in its web. You know all of the parts of his psyche. So because of that, you know that if you're like here, you can kind of know how they'll feel if they're in a storm. You can kind of know what they'll think if they watch this movie. You can kind of know if they'll like this movie or not. And that understanding as a guy, we cannot replace that. You will instantly become valuable in our eyes because you possess something that nobody else can offer. It'll take years to meet somebody else who's able to predict us that way. It's one of the ways you become irreplaceable, right? Now, the next thing is that they fall in love with your vulnerability. It's not just the fact that you're somebody that they love. It's the fact that they can sense weakness from you. They can sense that you need them. They can sense that without them, you would not be happy. And this desire to make you happy is something that a person who's in love, they can't stand. They can't stand to think that you're not happy. They can't stand to think that somebody hurts you. They can't stand to think that somebody's taking advantage of you. They can't stand to think that today you're sad because it's the anniversary of your mom's funeral, for example. The thought of you being unhappy is like the instant reaction you see when a baby falls. You want to catch it before it hits the ground, right? You want to make them happy. And this vulnerability is something that only a healthy guy will use to help you. Because a toxic ass motherfucker, a toxic person will see your vulnerability as a time to manipulate. They'll see your vulnerability as a time to apply this strategy. And what will happen is that they'll use your weakness against you. That's a sign that you gotta get the fuck out. You gotta get the fuck out. Because this person doesn't love you. Your vulnerability should be something that they use to help you, that they're able to predict, that they use, that they caress you to comfort you, right? That they predict your needs, that they want to make you happy, that when you're sad, you can sense that they're also sad, which is also the mimicry, where you mirror each other's emotional states, right? And this is a sign of a good partner, because even though you're at your lowest state, they want to help. And when you know that this person is there for you and that you're there for them, it creates a symbiotic upward spiral where I'm there for you, you're there for me. I'm there for you, you're there for me. And your relationships becomes stress tested. And in military strategy, this increases the morale of your group, which makes them fight harder and makes them feel part of the whole mission, right? They become less selfish. And this, when they try to leave or think about leaving, they'll realize you guys have a lot of history. You guys went through a lot. You were there for them in your lowest, and they were there for you in your lowest. And this creates a sense of like, oh my God, this person is so amazing. And if you notice, if you have a toxic relationship with someone and it's a hot toxic relationship, these things, Jesus Christ, I gotta find a place. These things never happen. You might cry in front of your girl, and she might say, "Oh, that's gay shit. He's a pussy. I better leave." Right? You might want to have caress and comfort, but nah, I'm too lazy. I don't like caressing people. Not my type of shit. You know. They might love you, but they may not respect you. They might love you, but they want to apply manipulation strategies. Toxic people can never have this shit. They're gonna be the ones that call this boring. All right. So remember. The love and respect that you have silently emanates from you, which causes them to reciprocate it. Or if they don't reciprocate that love and respect, it's a sign that you gotta get the fuck out. The silent gaze, when you guys look at each other, if you guys look at each other consistently every now and then out of love, like you're working and you guys look at each other and then you go back to work, those are the things that your brain uses to remember the relationship. And the brain uses that to make you fall in love more. The caress, when they're stressed, causes them to associate relaxation and happiness with you, right? You're able to predict their needs. You know what they want. You know when they're happy. You're able to sense how they feel right now. You know what they're thinking, right? You know when they're acting slick, right? You mimic their habits. You mimic how they look. You mimic how they talk. You mimic their value system. You literally start to mirror each other. You do that through mirror neurons. And the last thing is that your vulnerability is what's going to make them become more vulnerable. What's going to make you become more vulnerable, and that's going to make a guy want to have a paternal instinct to protect you. And your vulnerability makes him more what? Makes him more masculine. A guy can't be a pussy if you have vulnerability. You got to give him something to rescue, something so that he could put his cape on to rescue you. And if you guys want to learn about these strategies, check out my 2 courses, Psychological Agreement of Attraction. It's a course that I made for women who are in relationships that want to go from single to relationship. Natural Chemistry, which is I teach you guys how to do this in that course, how to have natural chemistry with a guy. Emotional Mastery, it's a course to master your emotion. And my latest course, The Feminine Woman. It's a course that I created for women who want to embrace their masculine and their feminine energy, who want to be able to set and achieve goals, that want to be able to move up your career ladder without losing your femininity. It's pretty much a self-help course. We also teach you guys how to manifest your goals in that course. We teach you manifestation methods, the manifestation methods that I use. So click on the description down below where it says Work with Father Alex, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care. Bye-bye.